This is another episode of Fitness Reborn. I am your host, Sean. And this morning, I got Jeremy Murphy here. Jeremy Murphy is a personal trainer, a men's coach, and as I just found out today, a former MMA fighter, mixed martial arts fighter. And he is on to talk to us about everything that he does and much, much more. He also told me he's also expanding his reach more out to females these days, but he still talks primarily to men. And Jeremy, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is great. Appreciate it, Sean.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you kind of giving us your wisdom, giving us your background here. And as far as this background goes here, I didn't know that you were involved in MMA until just a couple minutes ago here. So let's dive into your background here, just as a way of kind of getting things started here. So
Yeah.
What was it like, before you became a men's coach and a personal trainer?
Well, before in high school, personal training, so during that post fighting when I was in college. So around the college, I started calling, believe it or not, in 1999. I think it was my spring semester. If you believe it, all right. Don't let the baby face fool you, okay? So leading up to that, high school and when I was younger, I did a lot of sports. I did roller skate sport, I did my hand on. Especially in high school, I did a little bit of wrestling, football, track, did cross country for a season. But when I got to college, I recognized that, athletics wasn't as accessible, right? Because it's not like your all in high school are completely different, right? You can play levels different, right? Bigger, taller. And I was literally thinking, the G to my track because I was my favorite sport. But then when I got to college, I noticed that everybody was at least a foot taller than me. So I thought, that's probably not a good idea. Then when I was grade level, maybe to be like for martial arts because I had been passion of mine since I was little. I had never really taken it seriously when I was younger, but I thought this was an opportunity. So I turned around and I started, and I got with this club, it's the Silicon Riding Club. My first kind of a real kind of an introduction to the martial arts world. And in that organization, called SKA. That organization was kind of a militant style of training, but it was also very to lack of a better word, basic. By basic, I mean, it's very like private sort of kind. Like they're literally all the non-sort, right? So there's a block, so there's a cage, right? So as I got better at that, I started doing tournaments, and I just started getting better at tournaments. I started winning tournaments, and this is over a span of a few years, but I really wanted to be able to defend myself, defend my loved ones, defend people who couldn't defend themselves. And so I really pushed myself to try to be competitive, to try to be proficient, to try to be powerful, these kind of things. And then by the time I thought that I was actually pretty good at karate, at the tournaments that I had been successful regionally, nationally, internationally, around I moved back to the Bay Area. I went to school in Cal State Long Beach. Moved back to the Bay Area where I was from. And he got married, got a kid. I had my first child. And I thought, I really want to try mixed martial arts. So I thought, I kind of reached the peak that I can reach in the karate mode. I want to see how mixed martial arts. And so I thought in my mind that I'd be really amazing. And that was not my experience. My experience in mixed martial arts with everybody beat me up. Like everybody took fast. Like everybody. And I was very disillusioned for a while. Because I thought to myself, I had spent almost 10 years in this martial art. And that coming year, my first 2 weeks is just getting, my bell rung by everyone. Right? So I decided to stick with it, and I decided that I had this moment of this, I don't know if I call it a moment of clarity. It's more like a moment of breakdown. I had this moment about a year and a half into training, and with this team, the gentleman that the main coach, his name was Conley. Conley's like, famous area martial arts name, in worldwide, I still to training essential and mixed martial arts. But anyway, at that time, Conley was like a rising star. So I was training at his gym with a bunch of other crazy fighters. And I was at the bottom, getting beat up by these people every day. And then one day I just decided, I don't want to do this anymore because every practice I go to, they're training pretty hard. I'm doing the basics in this sport, basics in this sport. And everybody was suffering. Everybody was hurt. But I decided one day I kind of had this emotional breakdown. But then I decided that if I quit, I wouldn't figure out. Well, we never know why they were so much better. So I take free truck. I kept wondering, why are they so much better? I've been
Yeah.
doing martial arts for a long time. I'm athletic. I'm not a dummy. Why are they so much better? Like, I could understand being a little bit better, but it felt like leaps and bounds.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, there's something that I'm missing. So I had to choose. So I stayed. I got myself together. I stayed. And I remember there's this one gentleman, we'll call him Billy. Because it's one kid named Billy, we'll say. And Billy was a kid who was essentially quintessential class third. You look at every draw I sparred him, he lined me up like, every time. And he was so mad. Like, he would just start throwing punches at kids. I would just try to cover up. And I wouldn't even know what combos he was doing. I just felt like shots. Like multiple pow. And then he'd bring, I try to do something, he'd come out. So I remember just thinking, like, this isn't false. It's just like, and then slowly, I started figuring some things out. I remember at one point, Billy, he started to take a break for whatever reason. And I kept training, a lot of those things like that kind of breakdown. I can't remember what 6 months of the list. It was just, something happened, he took a break, I'm staying. And I'm getting better, I'm noticeably getting better, putting some things together. I look back, right? Now, in my mind, this is just kind of like in my mind, it was like my arch nemesis. Right? He probably doesn't even, I've told this story many times, I'm not using his name, but he probably doesn't think anything of it. But anyway, my mom used it, my arch nemesis. He was one of the guys that was like on my list, but I had to get some get that. I was like, hard. So he took it back. And I had to take me 6 months, I had this baby 8. I'm straight, so he took back. And we have we do a practice. So, okay, it's smart. Hey, Jeremy, Billy, you guys talk. I'm like, oh, yes. Right? So I go, and then he's a little bit, that's his foot is slower, and I choose the chops, right? And then he moves on his chop. And I moves the sharper, and I'm there, getting a better of it. And I'm like, oh, this is great. It happened to myself, you know what? Let me break out my special little, can I break out a special little breakout, like video game? Yeah. Take a special combo, like an Asian combo, right? So I throw this thing, which is actually what this company's what are companies things? I told this, I've learned how this technique called three back. If I learned it from Kung Lee, and I never fighter named Tomas the name. Tomas the phenomenal fighter, sensual fighter, just very shy. I was friend of mine. So I'm in the penalty genre. Colossal fighter, to be honest. But I started to stop, and was on Billy, and I dropped Billy. And I left perfectly. Drop him. He's on the floor, he's like, hey, come. You're right? He's on the floor. And then I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, gosh, and this stuff, and I have best thing about a year and a half just getting submit up on the side. So my mind is just like, if you're in the descent dependent, it's like, it's just do. So I looked at him and said, are you good? He's like, yeah, I'm good. And I know at it, I was on the side. There wasn't a whole lot of care taking that. Yeah. So here's the thing. I never seen it yet. I never seen it the next day. I've never seen it into this day. For all I know, he could still be in that old gym on the mat, still laying down. I never saw him again, right? It's complex. It is step to say that I have no special power, no special move, no special ability. In MMA, everybody's athletic. Everybody's sharp. Everybody's quick to some degree. The only thing that I had that made me special to any degree is that I kept coming back. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah. I was just because when you were kind of going through your story there, and you were saying like, you're just getting pummeled and getting your ass beat like repeatedly, and you're just like, why am I doing this? Why don't I just quit and find something else here? I'm kind of thinking, well, that's kind of like that's how you earn your stripes, isn't it? I mean, that's how you get better. You face people who are much more skilled and much quicker and much better than you are, and that's kind of how it always was. Like in martial arts, it's like that's why you start as a white belt. Like, you know nothing. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah. I mean, that's totally true. Right? Because for me, it was just not because I had already been at black belt, so I thought I was better to highlight myself. Mm-hmm. And also, I had never been beaten to that degree. I didn't blood. It wasn't like, but I had never been beaten so handedly by so many people so consistent. Yeah. That's the thing that made no sense. But as I time went on, I started to understand there's a difference between illegal stock variety and like these martial arts fighting. There's a vast difference. I started to understand. So I had to figure out to close the gap.
Yeah, and in MMA, it's kind of like a catch-all. Like you're thrown into this world here where you can use any type of fighting style that you have at your disposal, right, to win a fight here. In karate, you are kind of restricted to one form of fighting discipline. And that's kind of what you're. But when you go into MMA, you meet guys that use karate, Muay Thai, Taekwondo, wrestling, grappling. It's really just whatever gets you the win, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. Karate is a single discipline. Mixed martial arts is multiple disciplines that you can use at the same time. That's absolutely true. But that wasn't the thing that made the difference, actually. The thing that made the difference is that there's a different level of intensity. And this is something that I don't think people that watch fighting really understand. Sometimes they call it armchair quarterback. There's like armchair fighters, right?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a certain level of every martial art has kind of like maybe a threshold. I should say every martial art. Every discipline and every devotion or religion has a certain level of intensity. Right? Like for example, wrestling. If you go anywhere anywhere in the world, wrestling is incredibly intense compared to the competitive level. How hard those guys work to be competitive, not to mention be at the top, is that the competitive level is incredibly high. Versus something like maybe say track and field, right? Or track and field. So track and field is competitive. And you're going head to head, but you're not like actually manhandling anybody.
Yeah.
So if you lose, you don't feel it as much as something that comes in your head, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, the violence that a person can bring, even in a practice environment, in mixed martial arts, is far higher than the amount of violence that a person can bring in any average karate dojo. And I don't mean like, I don't mean people are getting blood and just people are hard and people are trying to knock your head off. But it's the energy that you feel. It's that feels like a real like life and death situation. Versus we're doing a practice. You do this move, I do this block, and then I grab your arm, and then you come back.
Yeah, you're right about the armchair, like the armchair fighters and the armchair competitors and stuff like that. Like I've heard, because I'm not huge into fighting, but I have watched it, and I've listened to some people, some of these, especially these color commentators, who go off on somebody. It's like, oh, he's down. I mean, and they're calling him like, man, how did you miss that? He's messed up. What a pussy. Blah blah blah. It's like, you think you could have taken that blow any better than he did?
Right.
Really? And it's the same with it's the same like people who like keep knocking LeBron James. I don't, I'm just kind of like making the similarity there. It's like, because they keep making all these comparisons between LeBron and Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan and stuff like that, and all these people who just badmouth LeBron up and down couldn't do even a fraction of what LeBron can do.
Yeah,
Pretty
true, absolutely true. Yeah, even if they hadn't been playing basketball in their entire lives, LeBron, Kobe, Jordan, Mario, Curry, you're on a whole. The difference. Same thing with Hardy. The difference level is insane. Like, for example, if we talk about like a Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis, for boxing, if you talk about, hey, it could be, for example, Israel Adesanya, or Thomas Strickland. The amount, their level of intensity, the skill level from any average MMA guy in the gym is not just a little bit, it's leaps and bounds. You may not necessarily understand that until you had to actually go in front of them. And then you're like, wow, wait, I wasn't ready for this. Like, it's just like a test I wasn't prepared to take. I thought I'd been studying this. I thought I'd been studying the same shit. I thought I'd been studying the same skill set. I feel like I'm completely out of my league. It's hard. It's hard just watching from sitting back. You have to actually be in it, feel that energy, be like, oh wow, it's completely different.
Right. No doubt. All right. So, we went over your background here. We talked probably more about MMA than we anticipated, but it got fun there, so I enjoyed it. So how did we go into transitioning MMA? You became a personal trainer, and then you're now a men's coach, and you got a pretty varied background on that too. So what was the turning point into personal training and coaching men?
Great question. So I've been doing karate in college, and then a little bit out of college. Then I got went to Company's gym where they did. So Company's gym, they're focused on MMA, and they also do kickboxing. So I got the
Right.
family gym, and I was doing yoga and everybody. I went to a smaller range, and maybe figures and things out. I heard that first of them I did amateur kickboxing. Then I did amateur MMA. And then I did professional MMA. So I kind of like did this kind of like progression. Um, by the time I got to professional MMA, I went to a different gym. I went to a gym called AKA, American Kickboxing Academy. Sounds like. So, but that's as far as the transition to personal training. Around the time that I was doing amateur mixed martial arts, I was still working like a regular job. Out of college, I worked for what was then Washington Mutual Projects. I got a degree in marketing, and I realized that the degree that I had no real idea how to use. Like I didn't understand until the tail end of my college career. I didn't understand the value of doing something like internship. So I tried to get one, but by the time I figured that out, I was already about to graduate. And so my marketing degree is virtually useless. And so I spent my time in retail, in the retail banking industry. And so I'm doing mixed martial arts, and I'm just got very started with family. I'm doing this job that I have no affinity for, really interested in at all whatsoever. And Adam took this also as I made, you can actually, one of those connections was a chiropractor. He's a friend of mine, talking the job. Union City, not far from where I live now. A great guy. And, so I go to him to get passed up from training, final whatever. And one day, he said, I blew him and he says, how's it going? Man, this years and years ago now. But I said, man, this is good. I said, now, the fact, but it's a lot. I can't find a job that I actually like. Because around that time I got laid off, there's a 2008 boom bust, housing, everything.
Right.
Let me try to figure these things out. And he's like, we might actually do personal training. So it wasn't my idea, it was my chiropractor's idea. And I was like, that's dumb, right? Because I thought personal training is just these knee fans or these walls running around the waist. And I should, which is just a true story. But he was like, no, you'd be great. You're in shape, you're a fighter, people listen to you, stuff like that. I was like, well, nothing else is really working. So I'm trying to find out these marketing jobs. And at the time, like, I'm a Craigslist is basically like traditional jobs. It's like nonsense, okay? So it's like frustrated by that. So I thought, well, it's better than nothing. So long story short, I found out a gym that I was looking for personal trainer. I got a weekend certification. So I got a weekend certification, came back. The gym was dragging their feet. Or another gym that was looking for personal trainers. It also wanted somebody that can teach boxing, kickboxing classes. I had some experience teaching class at Collegians. I filled out for some people here and there. So I had a teaching class here and there. So I had that experience. So they brought me on. They kind of gave me like a test. They brought me on. So I was from that point, I got to do boxing classes, kickboxing classes, and personal training. So I got to work on all that kind of skill sets in one place. Once I kind of hold myself, my classes got jumping and younger kids. It was actually a really good time. It was the law degree. It doesn't exist anymore. It's finally boxed. Yeah, if you're other trainers there, we had a rocking good time. Yeah, 20, 30, people in a class, clothes bags, music, blasting, right? It was great. So I have to hone my skills in that point. And then when I got to hone my skills, I was like, okay, now I know kind of my identity as a personal trainer. Then I went to Equinox. Equinox was a place where I really got to hone the personal training side. That's what I think about Equinox and stuff, about the personal training side. Learn more about the anatomy of the body, learn more about muscles, what exercises work, what, why, where, how. And when I got certificate, I went out for my own. So I branded myself as my business name officially is Fire Fitness, and it comes from my martial arts background. My original sensei used to say, if you're iron and you want to be steel, you have to go through the fire. So I use that as my kind of I feel like I want to use that kind of tagline. And that became my identity, right? Obviously, I kind of martial arts, fitness, metabolic training, essentially. Yeah. So yeah.
So what kind of clients did you typically attract then? Was there a uniformity to it, or was it just kind of varied?
Yeah, interesting. At the time, most of my clients were women. 60 to 10, or 60 to 40 women, something of that nature. But even after I worked at Palo Alto, there's doctors, there's lawyers, it's all these kind of high power people. But the thing was, at Equinox, I was a little bit of an outlier. I was too loud, right? And I wasn't.
Wow.
Yeah, it's my box in the list is loud. So people guys too loud. I get complaints. You need to go to the other side of the gym. I go to the other side of the gym. If you're too out of agreement, you need to go to the other side of the gym. Right? So I was a little bit outlier in that way. But then when I went off on my own, I was able to get people the results that I wanted them to get faster.
Yeah.
And I was able to kind of hone their programs in a way that I thought was more sufficient. Because that took the wanting to retain to one on it. And I said, I don't like that. To the best of my ability this way.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's how that kind of fell out. So I went off on my own as far as fitness that I've been doing. That burst. And so, yeah, we're very high caliber type people is what I tend to
What,
get.
what do you make of that? Because I taught kickboxing classes years ago myself too, group kickboxing classes. Yeah, it was kind of similar to the setup you had. Lots of loud music, jumping around, people
Yeah.
just having fun, pummeling these bags, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Great fun.
Right.
But what do you make of that? The fact that most of the clients that were attracted to it were predominantly female. Because I noticed that in my classes too.
Oh, yeah. So, great question. Great question. So, yeah, I lost my class when we were well teaching back when we first started. I looked at my class, I looked at my peers' classes. Always the same. It was like 70 to 80% female. Every time, all the time. So, to answer your question, kind of a few thoughts. The first thought is, so this is actually this is an interesting question. So, the first thought is, if I'm being totally honest, my observation, there's a lot of women that have a lot of, let's just be honest, a lot of anger, right? A lot of women have a lot of anger, a lot of frustration. And some of that might come from, maybe not being in the relationship that they want. Some of that has come from not being in the career that they want. Some of that might come from not having the family dynamic that they want. Right? So that's one thing. Right? There's a lot of anger, there's a lot of frustration, a lot of angst. It's straightforward, by the way. A lot of angst. Second thing is, I've seen this many times, many places. For whatever reason, if you put a bag in front of a woman, and you gibberish for love, I've seen this and it blows my mind. 9 times out of 10, if you put a bag in front of her gibberish for gloves, she's not afraid to get the bag. So she's like, okay, all right, how am I supposed to do it? Okay, tell me how to do it? Okay. Right. 9 times out of 10, my observation is women are willing to learn. If they feel comfortable with you, and they feel confident in you, they feel like you're not there trying to make them feel bad or degrade them or disrespect them. Show me how to eat the bag. I'll hate the bag, right? Guys, I've seen this. I've been to I've been to other gyms. I've been to other business where I come bring a couple of my people, they champ out and bring it back and do like a little special, little fitness expo. I've seen this in little bag. We literally do that. Have a little bag. Not even heavy one. Put some gloves. Hey, hit the bag 10 times. No miles. Women, 9 times out of 10. Oh, absolutely. Guys, 9 times out of 10. No, I'm good. No, I'm good. No, I'm good. When I first saw that, I would ask, because I had 2 ladies that would work with me. They had my brand on, had the whole gear. And I asked them, like, what is going on here? I thought, why would a guy want to eat the bag? Why? And they're like, that's how some are. They're like, this is we're in Silicon Valley. This is and so that was, there's some people that say that men are very fast or very effeminate now. And I think I think there's some truth to that. And I think at that time I was seeing the beginnings of that. But there's something where if you put a bag and a glove in front of a man, he feels like if he's never crushed before, instead of doing like, oh, I'm going to get at it, I've been watched. This is why. I don't know if I'm embarrassed or if I'm stupid. I should tell them behind him to back, and I don't. So I don't want to I was tough, so they just not, right? So there's the aggression I can some of that. There's the willingness to learn. And then there's the last one is if they see an opportunity, there's an opportunity where they can get that out, where they can get that out and they can exercise that in a healthy way, right? Then they're about it all day, every day, twice on Sunday. They're about it. Right? Well, men would generally tend to hold things in, maybe we'll go to the gym, right? But there's a lot of men can have a lot of inner kind of turmoil, right? That's not going to get healthier men to have a little inner turmoil. And some women tend to find ways to express it outwards, whatever that energy is, to find ways to express it outwards. That's my observation, at least at that time. I'm not exactly sure if that's changed or not since COVID. It's kind of hard for me to call it since COVID happened. But at that time, I was on observation. Yeah.
That's interesting because I'm reading a book right now. It's called Human Nature. It was written by Robert Greene, same guy
Oh,
who
yeah.
wrote like 48 Laws of Power, that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
And there's this chapter is talking about how the conflicts between masculine and feminine are raging against each other in both genders, both
Yeah.
men and women.
Right.
So it's like, you talk about these women who really have this affinity, really take towards, putting on some boxing gloves and just going to town on this bag and don't care about how it looks, don't care if it looks too limpy or whatever.
Exactly.
They just go right to it. The chapter talks about how there is this latent, this dormant sense of hostility and, I guess, for lack of a better term, masculinity inside them that has been repressed. Like, it was there when they were young kids because they didn't know any different, but as they got older, they got taught differently. This is how you be feminine versus this is not the way to be feminine. So this unconscious, need is suppressed and is held down inside. So now what you're describing here is kind of, it's starting to come out a little bit. It's being put in an environment where it's allowed to come out.
Right.
And so it is coming out.
Right.
As far as like your comment about how men are becoming more effeminate, I think you're probably right. I think there is to a degree some part of that, and I think actually, if you want to go even a bit further with that, the fact that so many men feel disempowered and feel weak and feel like they're overly feminized or something like that, I think that's what's fueling the popularity of guys like Andrew Tate and like even Donald Trump. It's just these guys who are like these exaggerated masculine males, who are just, that's just my take on it too. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I think that's a very take. So I think there's a lot of it. You bring up a great point, and I want to try to keep this distinct because we got. But this topic alone we could talk about for an hour.
Right.
But
yeah,
there's a dynamic between masculine and feminine. So one thing that's happened is from a person to person dynamic in a relationship dynamic. Something I've noticed with friends and something that, and even a person in my experience, is that something happened where the masculine, the understanding of what it means to be a man did not get passed out. And I think it actually happened to the generation before mine. Something happened where there were secrets, I was talking about on another podcast during this, like secrets, so to speak. There's an understanding about how to be a man that was not tested, right? And then there's also, at the same time, there's an understanding about how to be a woman. Right? So I'm not blaming our parents because they don't see them in generation that have failed it. There's an understanding that men had, and women had 50 years ago that they don't have now. And it's separate from the changing times. It's separate from that. There's a good consistency with the masculinity and feminine energy, right? So, as a result, it's allowed men, for example, to be, or stay, Disneyfied, right? Allows us to be like, this is how important women is. This is feminine, right? And so I just be super nice guy. And, I've been that guy for years, right? Up until my divorce and I had a real reading of what it means to be a man. There are a lot of things that I didn't learn, so I've been Disneyfied, that's how I like to call it, right? And so I remember being in high school, and you're like, oh, okay, I'll get to vote for it. No, keep it flowers. No, contest it up. If we're president, like, but for me, it's just like, that is the whole way to love that is, and not give the flowers, but why did you choose us? Right? I want to see this over. I'm trying to figure out, like, why? Now I'm upset, all right? So what's happened is, this is my perspective. You're going to have people that disagree on people that feel right? But if the masculine energy is designed to lead, and the feminine energy is designed to support, right? Then the feminine energy is looking for safety, she's looking for support, she's looking for security, right? But now, if she has the choice, if she only has the choice between maybe we'll go out of sin and then the savage, right? Like a complete asshole. Right? If she only has the choice to the sins of the savage, she's gonna choose the savage. Because even though the savage might, and might be an asshole, there's still a level of safety, maybe not security, but still a level of safety in there. There's still a level there's a level of safety, there's a little bit, maybe a little bit of security, but more than anything, there's an attraction. This guy's not going to let me run over him. At least I know that, right? There's a level of attraction that can't be denied. They said there's nothing. There's no security, there's no safety, there's no attraction, there's nothing there for her, right? So if a feminine has to choose she's trying to go with the challenge every time. There's a level of attraction. There's a level of, you may not be necessarily faithful to me, but I know if we go into a situation where there's some guys around us, I think that he's going to take care of them and we can get off safe. He can get that feeling. He gives me a certain feeling of safety. He gives me a certain feeling of, he's a savage, he takes care of things, and it takes control, right? He's going to handle it. He may not be the nicest guy. He may not be the most honest guy. He may not be the most faithful guy. But at least he gives you that. And that's how, right? And that's what we're facing right now. So now we have guys, podcasts. Women like this, women like that. And it's true. There's a lot of big women that have done to some women that have done really heinous things to their boyfriend or husband. Level of accountability needs to be there. And then men have the agitate because now, if you're the stamp and you're the guy who did all the right things, you did the girl, or you did all the right things, you got converted, just cheated out, so that you did take your stuff. Then you're devastated, they're trying to figure out what happened. You see that date line, you're like, oh, I need to be that. So we go all the way to the other side. We go, oh, there it is, the other side. We jump to the other side, right?
Yeah.
But true masculinity is still in the middle. That's the thing I miss.
Mm-hmm.
True masculinity is being able to like, yeah, I'll give you flowers. I love to give you flowers. I would hold on to it. Maybe I don't write you a poem, but I have expectations too.
Yeah.
I have standards too. I have a way of operating as well. I have a purpose. I have a mission. Are you guys like that? Are we on the same page? Because if not, I'll keep moving. It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know, right? So there's a level, and we've been right now here missing that. We're trying to figure it out, right? Because nobody told us.
What do you think about, so the fact that she always goes with the savage, right? So she goes with the guy who may not be the most ideal partner, but, if she's feeling unsafe in an environment, she knows he'll step up, right? So I know that from my own experience that they do value that kind of thing. Right. For all this talk about the equalities between the genders and stuff like that, and that is still a very primitive level. That is still very much the case here. So do you also think it has something to do with a certain amount of sexual competition? Because you notice, like, if you're in a relationship, you notice that, like, you all of a sudden you're just like a beacon to all these other women here, right? And like it's like, well, she's got him, right? Maybe I want him too, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. There's called situation, and if you walk into a room with by yourself, they're like, one notice. You walk into a room with 3 of your guys, one might notice. If you walk into the room with a woman on your arm, she's very much more likely to notice you, much more likely to notice you than in the first 2 scenarios, right? Now, if you walk, this is the stage. I don't want to get the things. If you walk to the room with a woman, and let's just say objectively, she would get 5, right? Just think I could never get a 5, I'd be Nick 3. Right. They objectively, she's a 5. Woman would be like, oh, interesting. I believe you're a big young together, and that's it. Like, oh, interesting. All right, so. But if you up to a woman with a 7 and she's a 9, then you're the man. Then you're the man. Yeah. This is how it works. These are the kinds of things that made that understand. But here's the thing: the bio that you agitate, or a Myron or a Fresh or any of these guys is that there's a few things. People are hating on them a lot. I've been thinking about those people. I hate on them a lot, but you gotta understand, right? I don't agree with everything that they've said, but here's a couple of things that they did do. They exposed. That's always have a freshness that's out, right? This is just a deep, right? Seriously, they exposed some of the female nature that from the females themselves. For the females on how they got some like 18, 20, right? But there's like 18-year-olds in the world, 2-year-olds in the world trying to figure this out. And then you let them speak, right? And you got to speak. Oh, that's how they really think. This is not a man telling me how women think. I want to let me see these things, right? And then you got to see, Myron telling, okay, well, it's this and this, right? And then you got to see Myron explain some things, right? Yeah, you're like, yeah, that's exactly right. You got to hear Andrew Tate be like, you're a man. Like, you have to step up. Yeah, you got your heart broken. Yeah, you've been disrespected. Yeah, you've been running them up. But now you have to be a champ and use that energy. You get your money together, you get your body together, and you come back stronger, right? There are men that needed to hear that. Our argument, a person, Andrew Tate has saved, our argument has saved more men's lives. Because you got to remember, men take their lives every day. People forget. Both men and women have depression. Matter of fact, women have more rates of depression than men. Men are 3 to 4 times more likely to take their lives than women. According to statistics that say 2020 is so high, 50,000 men commit suicide. The women ask for all, the men have. So we gotta think about, yeah, there's things that these people say that is kind of like overboard, over the top. But if you can be grounded in yourself and listen to the part that makes sense, be objective a little bit, these guys have saved some men's lives, including mine. And I don't think I was in a necessarily keep my eye on them all. These guys started popping up, but I was in a toxic relationship, and listening to them helped me get the confidence to pull myself out of it.
I think, here's my take on Andrew Tate, and I'm somewhere in the middle. It's like, I understand a lot of people feel very strongly about him, both for and against. And I think a lot of what he says, I would get behind, or some of what he says, I would get behind any day of the week. Like, take care of your body, take responsibility of your life, own your life,
right?
Make yourself better, improve every day, that kind of thing. That stuff, I think, is gold advice for anybody, not just men, but for anybody.
Right.
But it seems like whenever I hear him being interviewed, it seems like at some point here, it just starts going completely off the rails here. Like after about 30 or 20 minutes in here, now we're talking about like Lamborghinis and harems of women around.
Right.
And, trying to get, men onto his university where he teaches men how to get involved in crypto and stuff, and trading crypto and stuff like that. This is like, it's just like, it always ends up being kind of disappointing because it's like, we started off pretty good here and I was with you, but now it seems like we are just going into fairy tale land here.
Okay, that's fair, but let me ask you the question. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Who's somebody that you would say that you personally admire or look up to or really have a high regard or respect for? Somebody.
I would say, well, living or dead, or does it matter?
Let's say, living or dead.
Miyamoto Musashi, the samurai.
Okay, let's go somebody a little more contemporary than the last 15 years.
Okay. Let's see. Well, in terms of like toughness, I don't agree with everything he says, but David Goggins. And I think David Goggins actually does the man up stuff for Jocko Willink. I think they actually do it a little bit better, especially Jocko Willink. I can't really listen to David Goggins talk for too long here because he just kind of eventually all I hear him saying is just dropping the word fuck every 3 seconds, and it's just like it loses me. But Jocko,
great.
Let's say Jocko Willink, right?
Okay, but David Goggins is a great example. David Goggins is a guy who was 300 pounds, 180. He worked as a pesticide,
spraying for cockroaches.
Spraying for cockroaches, right? Decided to lose, lose half his body weight, and get into the armed forces. And he's one of the most decorated gentlemen in terms of what did he do? I want to say he did three different steel tests. Okay, so I don't remember exactly. I don't see three different types of steel tests or types of process training. But anyway, and then it did, and then he did something that's brilliant, which is very hard to do, and he set that to doing eventually a central ability self-speaker and an influencer, right? So he himself has motivated a lot of men and women, right? What did he always say? He said, "Stay hard." He'll be money. He'll talk about his day. He says he does the power of every day. But he also works out every 30 seconds, maybe even 15 seconds, right? But here's the thing: there's nobody. Right, we're going to be a little bit more conscientious about how we view people. There's nobody that you're gonna like that they do everything all the time. That if you did, either you don't know enough about them or you're turning a blind eye. There's nothing about Luther King that is said to have scientists along with married, right? One of the greatest men of all time. Does that not make him a great man anymore? Right? You might feel a way about how he handled his marriage and his third brother case. Muhammad Ali, greatest of all time, didn't want to go to the Vietnam War, right? One of my personal heroes. But he had multiple wives, and he kind of might have got up. That make him a fan. Doesn't make him the best husband. Maybe it doesn't make him the best father. But that doesn't mean that he wasn't a great boxer. That does not mean that he was not a great future for us. You had to find a future for us now. There's going to be very hard for you to find a great man that has face.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. And you're right about that. And, all I know about Andrew Tate is just what I see and what I hear him say. And I know that's not fair at all to anybody. I don't hang out with him. I don't have beers with him.
Right.
So what do I really know about him other than just what he says?
Right.
So, and but part of that is his fault too, because this is what he is saying. This is what I'm hearing him say. So
Yeah.
that's on him. That's on him too. But you're right. I really don't know the man. All anybody knows is just what he is saying.
Right.
And that's definitely a fair point. And David Goggins, for his part, he's been very upfront about everything that makes him human,
Right.
which I think is something that Andrew Tate does not do. I
Okay.
think is he just kind of props himself up as like this unbreakable man that can't be brought down by anybody. Goggins has been from day one, he's been very open about everything that has made him into what it is and how he still struggles. So that I do like about him a lot.
Right. Yeah, no, I can agree with that. I do think that Entity is maybe a character to some degree.
Yeah.
But I don't care about that. What I care about is that, from my perspective, as best as I can tell, he saved millions of men's lives. And he saved their lives physically, but he also saved their lives spiritually.
Right.
And it's very hard. And in the last 5 years, it'd be very hard for you to name any single person has done that. Any therapist, any life coach, anybody, even collectively. And he paid the price for it, right?
It's very true, Paul. Yeah, I mean he has run into a number of legal problems. So if that's the price he paid for saving lives of men, then I guess yes he did.
I think he didn't say anything. If you're trying never went to me and Jeff, he didn't say anything about it. He just kind of stayed on the radar. I'm like, we care, right? But I'm just saying. So I'm not saying I agree with everything that you said. I'm not saying that I agree with a lot of what you just said. But if you look at, I'm talking about like the net impact in terms of saving lives, right? I'm not talking about saving money. We're not talking about saving the world. We're talking about men's lives, right? Like
Right.
it'd be hard. I'm not to use it in this something that's not disrespectful for us, right?
Right.
So what I am saying is that the stuff that he said that's been directed at men about how men should conduct themselves has saved their life. There's nobody else in the last 5 years that you should have seen about that I know.
Well, that's a fair point. So, all right, you mentioned a little while ago, as we were having this conversation, that you were in a toxic relationship, which is kind of, I think, that's really the origins of the actual current story of Jeremy Murphy, which led you into coaching men and what you learned. You said this earlier. What you learned about relationships between men and women post your divorce.
Right.
So why don't you take us through that? And what was your marriage like in your subsequent divorce?
Yeah, I thought that the origin, I would say, came from the divorce. That's when I started to figure some things out. And part of that was, essentially, because my ex-wife I was married to, essentially just got to a place where we're no longer on the same page, right? Just to make it simple. We went to counseling. We went to counseling for about 18 months. I learned stuff. She learned stuff. But we still realized, or at least I realized, we're not on the same page. I asked for a divorce, right? But in that process of going through divorce, I walked away from everything, right? I just took cars, clothes, and some books. But I also made a lot of not very smart moves in terms of, let's say, negotiating what we accumulated together, right? So I had to kind of figure that out later on the back end. But there's a couple of things that happened. So I mentioned I was the best MMA fighter, right? This is before I asked for a divorce. My coach at that time was like a follow figure to me. His name was Pops. Look, he was 17, Pops passed away very unexpectedly, right? And it was a big blow for not only for myself, but for the entire fighting community. There's a lot of fighters that he had been coaching fighters for like 4 years. So a lot of people that were heartbroken by that, including myself. And so then by that time, my marriage was already troubled. Asked for divorce, I think it was 2019, right? And then saw a lot of Pops went through a depression, asked for divorce, went through a deeper depression. And part of when I went through the divorce, one of the things that happened that really sucked was I just tried to walk away. I tried to walk away sexually where I didn't do anything. There's no cheating, there's no running around, there's no gambling, there's no weird stuff like that. It's just forced. And I thought I was being noble because I recognized that I recognize this is not no longer the place for me. I thought that was a noble thing to do. That was the right thing to do. But I had friends that decided that they needed to take sides. some friends
Yeah.
did. Most of the friends took first side. That's a whole other story as to why that happened. But all of a sudden I found myself very alone. And so I went through this process where I thought, I remember, so I was alone, I had a lot of money, I didn't have the time with my boys that I was accustomed to having. Now, of course, this is my decision, right? But you make a decision, you recognize that there are things that need to be done, but there are other repercussions that come along that don't really hit you until you're there. And then I knew that I wouldn't see my boys as often, but I didn't know the feeling that I was feeling until I was there. So that separation was painful.
Yeah.
And there's people that decided they didn't want to talk to me. They never checked on me. They never asked. They knew the situation. They never called me. And I did nothing to these people. I was supporting them. I cheered them on when they needed me. But when I needed them, they were gone. Right? So I was very alone. So I remember literally being on the phone until 6. Just low energy, low money, all these kinds of things. And I just started crying. And the first thing I said was, I started to cry. And I said, do something. And then I got a little bit of relief. And then my process was, I don't really want to be here, but if I have to be here, then I have to figure out a way to get better. And that wouldn't have to mean that I have to figure out a way. I remember having this kind of epiphany, essentially, in the Motel 6. I figured out a way to use the situation to make myself not only as good as I was before I was in the situation, but actually better. I figured out a way to use this situation to catapult me to a place I never been. It's not to make this on purpose, so I decided. And I wasn't sure what that would look like. That was the thought that I had in my head. But then I was like, but first I gotta get up. So let me just get up today. Let me just get let me just get in your car today. Let me just get to my first performance day. Because it's all about business, my personal training business. So everything was like, let me just do something right for the first 5 minutes. Let me just be to our first appointment. Whatever happens after that, happens after that. So I tried to fix myself just to put one foot for the other. As things slowly got better. And then, so, I started praying, I started counting, I had this journal called Voices of God, and I wrote to God, and I just asking questions. I write about what was hurting, why I was confused, questions that I had, questions that I needed. Sometimes I got the answer as I was writing. Sometimes I got the answer later. Sometimes I never got the answer necessarily. I just thought about it right. So I thought I was actually helping conversation. And slowly things got better. But what was more interesting is that out of many people that I had lost, and I thought I was tired, people that I thought were feeling that I had lost, there were also people that I didn't even know were paying attention that showed the grace. There are people that just were just kind of on the outskirts of my life, right? Like, hey, I heard what happened. If you need anything, if you need a place to stay, I help out. And I have an MO unit. Hey, how are you doing today? I get calls here and there. I get people that would message me, text me, people, old clients, old friends, or just check in. And every little thing then gave you a little more, like extra energy, like extra relief. And it gave me a little more insight. And slowly I developed this. And slowly I got to a place where I was like, it took a while, but it took 5 years to the point that I'm at now. But I went from another 2012 beat up car, right, to, living in and out of a hotel, barely making my ends meet, like barely, trying to figure out, because the hotel is like having a mortgage practically, right? And then I contacted a friend that was sleep on his couch, another one received some money, didn't ask anything of me, nor anyways, and then I slowly started to figure things out. So then I got to the point where I was like, okay, DoorDash on purpose thing. I know what it is now. I'm going to help men, not people, but men in particular, do what I was taught. I'm going to help them did you in a fraction of the time. Actually, was philosophy. I called it FIGHT, right? FIGHT is an athlete. Faith, inventory, growth, habits, and team, right? And so this is the process. I realized the framework that I use to get myself from point A to point B. So faith was the first thing for me was to pray. I said, please help them. And it was German. Right? But faith can be a variety of things. Faith can be just spiritual, it can be just you and him. You and him. Or you and her, however you see it, right? Right. Because to give God a jigger, it is kind of ridiculous, right? You and the creator, right? Just there. Like to be just spiritual, to be religious. You go for the search, you ask somebody, tell you about the word. It could be the Bible, it could be the Quran, it could be the Torah. But faith can also be practical. Faith can be you looking yourself in the mirror and saying, I'm going to do this today. I'm loved, right? Almost in a silly way, but if you can reprogram yourself to believe in yourself, that's a form of faith. Faith is your belief in something that's someone can you. Right? Yeah. Then there's inventory. What do you have? What do you don't have? And there's draw. Who have you been? Who do you want to be? Right? There's habits. What are the habits that make the gap between who I've been and who I want to be? Right? I've been disrespectful. I've been lazy. I've been selfish. I've been self-absorbed. I've been angry. I've been frustrated. I've been dejected. I've been abandoned. What do I want to be? I want to be full. I want to be loving. I want to be healthy. I want to be strong. I want to be focused. I want to be pure. I want to be, right? What happens? I gotta eat right. I gotta exercise every day. I gotta read good books. I gotta talk to good people. I gotta take on people that I love, right? What are the daily habits that give you some footing for the internet? Last thing, T is routine. Which is a support system. I mentioned I lost on that T. First thing, I like to curate my support system. So I decided on every guy gives these 5 diets. Right? This is probably the most powerful part of the philosophy. If I get personal, but particularly men, because men have a hard time having any kind of community generate. Every guy needs 5 diets, right? You need to ride or die, right? So I was just like, war, just let's jump to a burning building for you or with you if you need me. Ride or die, you need a big brother, represents family. You need a coach. It's like your Captain America strategist, you need a life coach, relationship coach, business coach, right? Therapist. You need a mentor, represents success. Someone that's already got to where you want to be, and they can give you the game and help you shortcut and avoid potholes, right? And then you need a father figure, or for some women, a mother figure. Somebody that does all of that, a little bit of all that, but they also teach you those secrets I talked about in the beginning. The secrets of what it means to be a man. The unasked, the stuff that we're supposed to get, that our parents told me didn't get. What does it mean to be a man? What's the essence of the masculine? But I lost Cost was a big blow because Cost represented that. Cost was the essence of masculinity, a human form. It wasn't so much it was how he was. It wasn't just what he said, it was how he was that I got to see for myself. That gave me the clues that not only I was see something that I desperately needed, but I also had an opportunity to start to learn some things from him and something I could build on, right? So, those are the 5 people that I think that everybody needs in order to be a more elaborate person and to shortcut their process. Just assessed, really for that.
So I saw something, I think just yesterday, I was on Facebook, and I saw a post by, I'm going to pull this book, like Single Dad Supports or Dad Supporting Dads, that kind of thing. Somebody put up a meme saying that men aren't avoiding marriage, they're avoiding divorce.
Right.
Which I think probably encapsulates a lot of these guys who are in this group here. Because I see, every now and again, I see stuff posted from them. There's a lot of bitterness, I see stuff in there like, I kid you not, like guys posting like, I can't, I've had enough. I'm considering ending my life. Mm-hmm. Literally. Mm-hmm. In a Facebook group. Mm-hmm. Crazy. I mean, you talk about desperate measure here. You're reaching out through a Facebook group with probably a bunch of guys, not one of them you probably know personally. Mm-hmm. And you're saying, I'm going to kill myself. And I look at that, I'm like, I don't even know what to say. I don't say anything. I'm just like, I could type and say, don't do it, but what the hell is that going to mean to him? Mm-hmm. I mean, so...
You tell that person.
So why does, okay, so here's my question here. Why does the family court system, the divorce proceedings, always so heavily punish men? Why do they have to punish anybody? Why can't they just end a marriage and just end a marriage? Like, okay, here is, okay, so I will say this, like, a lot of times this is one or the other doing something here. It's not really the court, it's one side being led. Somebody's being vindictive, so they're acting this way. Yeah.
So you have to keep in mind that America is a primarily, it's like capitalism on steroids. So it's a very financially run country from the top down, which is to say that there's virtually nothing in America that's done on a system-wide basis that's done just for the sake of the people. There's always some money involved somewhere. There's a money incentive, right? So lawyers are incentivized to tell, for example, I'm not saying they all do it, but somebody to tell their client, hey, you should go to court and get the kids. More times than the lawyers, the more money the lawyer makes. When they go to court, they get child support. Child support also benefits the legal system as well. It benefits the support system as well, right? That's a part of their income, right? So there's always a financial benefit that's attached to uh these kinds of situations. Let me give you another example. If people are monetarily incentivized to stay married, the divorce rate would probably cut in half. If the country said, we'll give you $1 a year each just to stay married, the divorce rate would cut in half. Everything in America, virtually, is monetarily incentivized. Almost none of it is actually for the benefit of the people. I mean, if you look at, there's not too long ago, there was I can't remember the name of that, but there's a drug scandal, right? There's this drug that people had, that people could get. I don't remember what it was, but they got it for a fraction of the cost. Some rich kid bought the company, jacked the radar, right? At least 6 people, right? This is like 5 years ago. At least 6 people, right? And then people found out, they got blasted on a public arena. But my point is that's to answer your question. There's a financial incentive behind divorce. There's a financial incentive behind child support. If there was a reverse, you'd see what happens.
So, okay, so you asked your wife for a divorce after 18 months of counseling that went absolutely nowhere. You said, "It's not. I'm done. I've had enough," and you initiated the divorce, which kind of makes you unique in your own right, because 80% of the time it's the wife initiating divorce from the man.
Correct.
So that makes you kind of an outlier in that respect.
Yes.
So, okay, you said that I'm asking you for a divorce. I don't want to do this anymore. This obviously is beyond any retrievable quality.
Mm-hmm.
So what was your divorce like? I mean, you said you moved out. You moved out pretty much with nothing but books and clothes. That's kind of similar to my own divorce here. I moved out pretty much with nothing other than what I could immediately take with me. Left behind house, cars, everything else. I moved back in with my mom for a little bit. Didn't see my kids as much as I used to.
Yeah,
I will say my divorce was pretty chill. Like we didn't go after each other's throats. We just separated, and we got 50-50 custody, and no one pays anybody support. It was a very clean affair and very inexpensive. So I will say that much. But I know in a lot of cases, maybe in majority of cases, it's anything but. Like someone's hurt and someone is, like you said, being financially or is being coached into making it more of a tedious and hurtful proceeding than it really needs to be. So what was it like after you asked for divorce, and what was your divorce proceeding like?
Mine was somewhere in the middle. It wasn't completely nasty, but it wasn't also smooth like yours. It was somewhere in the middle. And what happened was, without throwing anybody under the bus, but what happened was there's a lot of at first it was like, okay, gosh, the boys. But then I slowly started noticing moves being made that made my life harder than it needed to do. Right? And so I thought, oh, it sucks. And it was actually, what was starting to happen was, I didn't notice it at the time, but there was let's say a mission called psychological warfare.
Yeah.
And it was actually my ex who noticed it. She was like, she's doing these things to you that make you feel this way, that's putting you in this hole, and nobody's advising, nobody's helping you. She did. I mean, no, she's not that way. My ex-wife is not that way. She's fine. She said, no, she's trying to bury you. No. So my ex would fight with me to try to get me to fight back with my ex-wife, right? And at first I thought, no, stop. That's fine. But the more she started predicting stuff. She's like, okay, she took all your friends. She took your dog. Next to your kids. And she started, and I was like, wow. So then I noticed it wasn't even about. So in my situation, we went back and we negotiated some of the things that we had built together. Back thing we went to the board to renegotiate. But it wasn't about money. It was about psychological warfare. And once that happened, I had to take a court. I had to do these things, right? Once that happened, the psychological warfare ended.
Psychological warfare. So it was just about getting back at you for leaving.
I suppose. I mean, I didn't do anything else.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's interesting. So we do hear a lot of horror stories. Like I just said about men who go through divorces and they end up losing everything. And I will tell you, like I had the night it all kind of came apart, and it was like, okay, this is definitely dead. This is over.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working nights at a job hospital, and I went to work that night as normal, and everything was okay until about like 12:30 at night. And then I went to the bathroom and I just lost it. Like I called my mom and I called her like a baby to my mom. I was like, I don't want to lose my. That was the biggest thing. It was losing my kids. That was the biggest scare for me. I didn't give a shit about the house or anything else,
right?
Or any like supposed friends,
right?
You know that were only friends because of our marriage.
Right.
But I feared losing connection with my kids. That's what really scared me, if nothing else.
Right.
I knew probably on a higher level that probably wasn't much of a concern, thankfully, but it was enough that it just kind of it tore me to shreds inside. And so is that, in your experience, is that common among men, like really fearing losing their kids?
Oh, 1,000%. That's the only reason why some men even stick around. There's men that'll stick around in a marriage knowing that's horror because they don't have to go through fighting for their kids, and they know, or of course, system favors the female, favors the woman. So they know if they do go to court, they do ask for divorce, and they do go to court, they're more likely to lose the kids, and they don't have to deal with that. So there's men that will stay in a marriage that they are not at all happy with, just so they can have time with their sons or their daughters until they're grown and get out of that.
Was that the way it was for you?
Oh, absolutely. I knew that would be an issue, but I also knew that the place that I was in, I was starting to sound like a cancer to myself. That was before I understood who I was really young. I didn't understand my ex at that time. Right? It's like she came a different person, or maybe she came a person she really was, but showed me a different side. Whatever you want to call it. But at the time, I was like, I'm gonna lose some of my kids. But then it became, before I realized how far she was willing to take some things, then it became like, if I stay, I would be a cancer to my kids. I mean, better father to them outside the home than I would be inside.
It's definitely fair, because I definitely feel like I've gotten better as a father outside of the marriage. I don't think I was a bad father to begin with, but but you know what? I don't take antidepressants anymore.
There you go, man. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah,
I don't need them. I mean, I have my ups and downs. I have my bad days and my good days, but I don't need them.
That's beautiful.
I don't feel like I'm in a stupor.
Yeah.
When I do have my bad days. I mean, I feel like I can regulate myself much better on my own. So my doctor, took me off in a couple of years. I haven't been on them in years.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. Happy for you.
So,
happy for
you. Thank you.
Yeah. But I'm sorry to do this to you, but I got to get going. We went way over time, which is great. It's great, but I got to get going.
You got to get going?
Yeah, I got to get going. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, sorry. I hate to take you over on time here.
Yeah, this is great. Yeah.
All right. Well, just real quickly here, before we go off here, I'd like to end everything on a final note here. So where the guest gives the audience a final parting words here. So if they came into this conversation right at this point here, what would you like to leave them with, if nothing else?
If they came in right at this point, then they missed a lot of really good stuff. Say so go back and watch the whole thing. But I would say this is a fantastic interview, and just to say, like, if you're going through a difficult time, right? If you're trying to figure out how to get yourself out of the hole, there's a couple of things that you need to know. First, you need to anchor yourself, right? Because we need to stop. We need to no longer allow people to believe that the best way out is to no longer be here. We need to take that off the table, right? So we need to let people know that they are loved, that they are valued, that they are respected, and that they are needed. We need to let people know that. Even if we don't know what they're going through, even if we think they're good, right? But that person themselves, they need to anchor themselves to this world. You anchor that could be your kids. For me, it was my kids, my husband, that place. It could be a promise you made to fulfill your childhood dreams. It could be a promise you made to your grandma, grandpa, your parents. It could be a promise you want to fulfill to your kids, your future kids, your nieces, your nephews. You need to find a way to anchor yourselves. It's not okay for us to believe that we need to take ourselves off the board. We're not aware of the effect that that would have on other people and how hurt other people would be and how devastated other people would be. So anchor yourself. Next thing you go to the fight framework, right? To find your faith, whatever that means to you, religious, spiritual, practical. Think inventory. What do you have? What do you have that you can put your hand on? What do you have that's tangible? What do you have that's intangible? Right? What are you capable of? When you start to literally write these things down, there's more to you than you think. You need to think about your growth. What do you want to be? If you're still here, you still have a chance. You're still here. You're still here. You have a chance. What do you want to be? What are the habits and ambitions where you want to be? What are the daily, weekly, monthly habits and ambitions to the place, to the person that you want to be? And then who's the few that you can create to support you on that process? If you go through that framework, you'll start to see that there's a lot more things that you're not giving yourself credit for. Again, you're loved, you're respected, you're appreciated, and you're needed. It's not okay for you to take yourself off the board. We need you here. That's us.
Jeremy Murphy, thanks so much for your time, man. Thanks for your insights and all your help and all your work.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
All right. Until next time, everybody, train hard. I'll see you next time.
Yes.
Hey, thanks so much for joining us. I hope you walk away with something useful from the episode. Don't forget that you can subscribe to my publishing platform called Samo Lives. It's the same platform I upload all my episodes, and I write my articles and my blogs and wherever else comes to mind I think is worth sharing with the world. The link is featured at the bottom of the show notes of every episode. By subscribing, you are becoming one of the very first that gets alerted whenever a new episode or a new blog or a new contribution piece becomes available on the platform. You can also follow the show, Fitness Reborn with Seann, by clicking the follow button on either Apple or Spotify or whatever your preferred streaming platform happens to be. I want you to know that your listenership, your viewership, and your continued support and your well-being mean the very world to me. Thank you so much. I hope to see you next time. Take care.